Hi there, this is Laura from Teacup Lion Designs, and I'm going to show you how to make a jointed neck on a plush so that the head can swivel. So first, pick a joint that is about the same size of the neck hole. This is the plastic safety joint. And the first thing that you're going to want to do is take some upholstery thread and make a gathering stitch right around the edge of the neck, keeping the knot on the inside. And gathering stitch is a long running stitch if you're not already familiar with it. The reason that I use upholstery thread for this part is because it's much stronger, and in my experience when I use regular sewing thread, the knot will just pop through because of all the tension that is done in this step. Okay, so don't close it yet, but insert this end with the desk inside. And then you can pull closed. Now make some securing stitches, just back and forth. I try to keep mine within maybe 1/8 to 1/4 inch of the raw seam, and I will just go any direction, maybe make a square, lines back and forth, as long as it secures it so it's not just the gathering stitch holding these together. Make sure that none of the stitches are coming outside of the neck area. Keep them all on top of the disc as close to the center as possible. And when you're finished, make sure your knot is also near the center peg here, and then double knot the ends. Tightly. If this comes loose at some point, the head could pop off. So if you want to use free check or glue on the knot as well, you can also do that. Now the next step is to put it through the head, so we'll also need to do a gathering stitch around the neck as well. And these stitches are not yet closed on the head gathering stitches, so I'm going to close those first. Just like the neck, I'm going to make some stitches back and forth in between. And pulling quite tightly. Make sure not to sew through any of the neck fabric, as that could limit mobility of the turning head. So I'm just going to knot the secured gathered stitches on the head part of the neck. Okay, so I just made my gathering stitches around the neck. At this point, this piece is completely closed. There's no openings. I have one opening in the head so that I can work with the joint. And if you're using cotter pin instead of safety joint, what you'll do is inside the neck you will have the peg, the washer, and this piece will replace the safety joint in here. So if you're using this, this will be inside of the neck at this point. So next is to place the peg inside the head, and now you'll see why we need a hole at the back of the head. If you have this piece, you place it on now as well. If you're using cotter pins, you will use this washer. So the difference between cotter pin joints and safety joints is just how they're locked on. Cotter pin joints are split with pliers. Safety joint has this locking ring on the top. So I have it secured on. I can start pulling the gathering stitches closed. I'll secure them after the joint's on. And then secure with the washer. This part's kind of awkward. You have to grab underneath the neck joint and press down with quite a bit of force. This wooden ball is one of the tools I use to help press the washer down, like so. And if I can, I angle the bottom of this onto a flat surface like a table. So I press down the washer about as hard as I could. It's pretty tight together here. And if you're using the cotter pin joint, this is what the step will look like. This is inside the neck, this piece is in the head. Press together, and then use pliers. To just pull these two apart. Like so. Now this top one at this angle can still wiggle around a little bit, so the goal is to get the two pins as far away apart from each other as possible at the top base here. So you can keep turning. I like to try to keep this piece from affecting the fabric of the plush, so maybe turn it a little bit to the side, but keep it above the, or within the circumference of the disc here. Like so. And then squish flat, especially at the center area. And just repeat for this other one as well. If you don't want to, curl it under like this, if you have wire cutters, you can just clip it a bit short so that it ends right at the edge of the disc. So that's how you would use it with a cotter pin. So the safety joint's finished. All you need to do is stuff the head, and you're good to go.